Chalice, please join me in our gathering song. You are welcome here, wherever you're going to, wherever you're coming from. You are welcome here. You are welcome here, wherever you're going to. Wherever you're coming from, you are welcome here, 'cause it's a house of love, a house of hope and dreams. It's a house of love, and you are welcome here, 'cause it's a house of love, a house of hope and dreams. It's a house of love. You are welcome here. And now again in Spanish. Bienvenido aquí. No quiere que vayas tú. No quiere que vengas hoy. Bienvenido aquí. Bienvenido aquí. No quiere que vayas tú. No quiere que vengas hoy. Bienvenido aquí a ese lugar de amor, de sueños e ilusión, a ese lugar de amor. Bienvenido aquí, sí, a ese lugar de amor, de sueños e ilusión, a ese lugar de amor. Good morning. Welcome to Chalice Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We are delighted to have you here with us in this community of open hearts and open minds, where diverse beliefs and experiences come together to grow in love and in service. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever path you're on, you belong here. Whether you gather with us every Sunday, pop in once or twice a year, or are here for the first time, thank you for joining us. I'm Jessica Meller, the worship associate today. Our service this morning is led by Reverend Dr. Arvid Straube, our affiliate minister. Our worship musician this morning is Tim McKnight, and our song leader is Callie Leaf. Our tech team is Jake Diock and Hope Campbell, and our greeters are Ronald Petzold and Donna Folberg. Our minister, Reverend Sharon Wiley, will return to the pulpit on January 26th. We're delighted to welcome those here in the chapel and those of you tuning in on Zoom. You're part of this gathering wherever you are. For those in the chapel, please feel free to wear a mask or step outside if it helps you to feel more comfortable. We have speakers set up so you can still listen to the service from the courtyard. If your row has some extra space, we would love for you to scoot towards the walls. This way, we can keep the aisles clear and make it super easy for our fellow congregants to find seats as they join us in the next few minutes. Thank you for helping us make everyone feel welcome. It's always a joy to see newcomers in service. Newcomers, we'd love for you to get connected. Our email newsletter is the best way to learn about the exciting groups and activities at Chalice. Online newcomers will receive an invitation to join our list after the service. And for those of you here in person, please consider sharing your email with us before you leave. Now, let's take a breath together. As we settle our souls into worship, we acknowledge Indigenous peoples with these words from Louise Erdrich, Native American author and member of the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa Indians of North Dakota. She is widely acclaimed as one of the most significant writers of the second wave of the Native American Renaissance. In her book, The Painted Drum, Louise writes, "And when it happens that you are broken or betrayed or left or hurt or death brushes near, let yourself sit by an apple tree and listen to the apples falling all around you in heaps, wasting their sweetness. Tell yourself that you tasted as many as you could." Now we light our chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. I'd like to invite Lauren Schultz to light our chalice this morning. Our chalice lighting words come from Joseph M. Cherry. As we gather together for worship this morning, both near and far, we light our chalice, as we do each week. It's a symbol of our faith. May its light be a beacon of hope for the many, those who feel lost, those who feel threat, those who feel tired, those who are uncertain. May our beacon of hope help you find home, help you feel safe, give you respite, and honor your searching mind and spirit.
Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. Within its brief course lie all the verities and realities of your existence, the bliss of growth, the splendor of beauty, the glory of action, for yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow is only a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. This is the exhortation of the dawn. And now please rise in body or spirit as we sing our hymn of the month.
So we'll be singing hymn number 155, Circle Round for Freedom, in the gray hymnal. And this is our hymn of the month, which we're working on every Sunday, and it has 3 parts. So today we're going to review the melody, and then we're going to work on the low harmony, which is, if you happen to be looking at the hymnal as the top staff. David's going to review the melody with you, and then I'm going to help you learn the top line, the low harmony. To the low harmony, which is the top line. Those two together. David will be leading the melody, I'll be leading the lower harmony, and you can pick which one you want to sing. Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned. Thank you so much. You may be seated.
Our Sunday worship is a special time when we come together as a community to share in the spiritual practice of honoring each other's joys and sorrows. In this space, we support and uplift one another, recognizing that each joy is a blessing and each sorrow is a shared burden. For those here in the chapel, you are warmly invited to write your joys or sorrows on a candle card, which we will collect shortly. If you're joining us online, please feel free to share your joy or sorrow along with your name in the chat box. These personal sharings will be read out loud, but this part of the service will not be included in the recording that goes on our YouTube channel. So your sharing will remain private within our gathered community. If you prefer to share a private message with Reverend Sharon, you're welcome to send her a confidential email with your joy, sorrow, or prayer request. Her email address will appear on the screen shortly. As we take this moment to write and reflect, please enjoy some music, knowing that in the sharing, your burden is lessened and your joy is multiplied. light a candle of sorrow for the fires up in the Los Angeles area and just the unfathomable destruction that is taking place up there right now. We have a few congregants who also shared that. And finally, we light a pillar candle for all of the joys and sorrows that go unshared and unspoken this morning. These two are held in the love and support of this community. And now we invite the children and anyone else who would like to come forward for a story.
Our story is a Chinese folktale called The Lost Horse, written and illustrated by Ed Young. In northern China, there once lived a wise man called Sai. He had few possessions, but owned a horse that was both strong and fast. One day, a violent thunderstorm struck the land. Terrified, the horse escaped into the night. One by one, the people came to comfort Sai for his loss. "You know, it may not be such a bad thing," he told them. To the people's surprise, the horse returned a few days later with a mare equally fast and strong. When the people came to congratulate Sai on his good fortune, he replied, "Perhaps it is not such a good thing." The next month, Sai's son decided to take the mare for a ride. The horse threw him, and he broke his leg. When people came to console Sai, again he said, "It could be this is not such a bad thing." Later that year, hostile nomads invaded China's northern border. All able-bodied men took up arms to defend their home. Though peace followed, many did not return. Because of his injury, Sai's son was spared. Sai's son had learned from his father to trust in the ever-changing fortunes of life. Together, for all the days that followed, Sai and his son lived in harmony.
As the children leave for their classes, we join in singing. Walk on your path with a song so sweet that everywhere you go there is love all around. Walk on your path with a song so sweet that everywhere you go there is love all around.
Our reading this morning is The Gates of Hope by Victoria Safford. Our mission is to plant ourselves at the gates of hope, not the prudent gates of optimism, which are somewhat narrower, not the stalwart, boring gates of common sense, nor the strident gates of self-righteousness, which creak on shrill and angry hinges. People cannot hear us there. They cannot pass through. Nor the cheerful, flimsy garden gate of everything is going to be all right, but a different, sometimes lonely place, the place of truth-telling about your own soul, first of all, and its condition, the place of resistance and defiance, the piece of ground from which you see the world, both as it is and as it should be, as it will be, the place from which you glimpse not only struggle, but the joy of the struggle. And we stand there, beckoning and calling, telling people what we are seeing, asking people what they see.
Welcome to the apocalypse. You know, we get this idea from the Hebrew and Christian Bibles. For instance, in the final book of the Bible, Revelation, the writer has been exiled to the island of Patmos in the Mediterranean by the Roman Empire. And while he was there, he described a vision that he had, a vision of Jesus returning to earth, to end time as we know it, to judge the living and the dead, and to proclaim a new heaven and a new earth. And there are all these incredible and fantastic images that have captured the imagination and confused people for thousands of years now. Now, the Jesus that shows up in the book of Revelation is not gentle Jesus, meek and mild at all. So I'm reading from Revelation 15:19. And then I saw heaven opened, and there was a white horse, and its rider is called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he judges and makes war. His eyes are like a flame of fire, and in his head are many diadems, and he has a name inscribed that no one knows but himself. He is clothed in a robe dripping with blood, and his name is called the Word of God. And the armies of heaven, wearing fine linen, white and pure, were following him on white horses. And from his mouth comes a sharp sword, with which he strikes down the nations, and he will rule them with a rod of iron. He will tread the winepress of the fury of the wrath of God, the Almighty. It's like, don't make me come down there. Julia Ward Howe, Unitarian, must have thought that the American Civil War was the end of time, because her lyrics to that song with which the Union armies marched took her images directly from the book of Revelation. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He has trampled out the vineyards where the grapes of wrath are stored. And all through that hymn are more images of the book of Revelation. So she must have thought there was an apocalypse. And I think she's right, if you understand what apocalypse really means. We think apocalypse means the end of the world. And it could be that apocalypse can seem like the end of the world, but that's not really what the word means. It doesn't mean the end of the world. The actual word in Greek means to uncover or reveal what has been hidden. That puts a little bit of different spin on it, doesn't it? What's been hidden and what's being uncovered now, because I think we are in an apocalypse. What's been hidden to some degree and is being uncovered now is the collapse of our entire social order, the chaos that we're living through. Politics is in chaos. Our healthcare system is in chaos. Our justice system is broken. Religion is confused and sometimes full of hate. We have the highest gap ever between the rich and the poor, the haves and the have-nots in this country's history. And as we know, and as we hold the victims of these fires in our prayers and thoughts, we're literally burning up the planet due to climate change. In an apocalypse, I think we need to realize that the old ways of thinking, the old opinions, the old habits aren't working anymore. That we have to see what's really there and think differently and act differently, no matter what political tribe you're in. The Zen teacher, Angel Kyoto Williams, said in an interview, there's something dying in our society, in our culture, and there's something dying in us individually. And what is dying, I think, is the willingness to be in denial. And that is extraordinary. It's always been happening, and when it happens in enough of us, in a short enough period of time, at the same time, then you have a tipping point, and the culture begins to shift. And then, what I feel like people are at now is, no, bring it on. I have to face it. We have to face it. So Jesus said, let the evil of the day be sufficient unto the day. In other words, deal with the problems of today and don't worry so much about the future. And in our current political situation, this is good advice. Because too many of us, and I admit that I've been caught in this, too many of us have been caught in what one of my colleagues calls anticipatory grief. We worry about what could happen. And of course, the pundits are always saying what terrible things could happen in the next 4 years, what awful events, what Donald Trump will do, what his minions will do. This could happen, that could happen, and how terrible that would be, and how terrible that would be. It hasn't happened yet. It's anticipatory grief. So maybe let's not get so upset about what could happen, because one thing is certain, what we think is going to happen is not what's going to happen. Exactly like that. Our current situation, as in every moment really, but our current situation is the result of causes and conditions coming together in a dynamic way. 10 trillion things coming together, constantly moving in state of being and ending. So the causes and conditions mean that we can be sure only of those causes and conditions changing. They will be changing. So we need to let go of all the things now that we can't control, and news is full of them. And we need to let go, and while we can't affect the causes and conditions of the future, while we can affect the causes and conditions of the future, we can't completely control them by our will. But when things happen, when things actually do come to pass, we can respond. We're not helpless. We can act. We can act on what's real and not what we fear. We can't control the future, but we're not helpless, because we can say no. We can say, no, I do not consent. I will resist. I do not approve. Whatever I can do to stop this, I will do. So we're not completely helpless. In the Zen peacemaking order, the advice is to see the world, to see ourselves, to see other people, to see our situation from a place of not knowing, to let go of preconceived ideas about reality and how things could be, and just really know, take in, witness what is actually happening. Which leads to the second bit of advice from the Zen peacekeeping order, which is to bear witness to the joy and suffering of the world. Bear witness, let it in. Let it in, all of it, as much as we can. It takes courage. and then see from a place of not knowing, of being open to different perceptions, of seeing more deeply into what the causes and conditions of the present moment really are, and then promises the order, we can act much more effectively. So how do we do this? So I suggest that you break up with Donald Trump. End your relationship with Donald Trump. What do I mean by that? It's pretty clear that he will say and do anything, any kind of outrageous thing to keep attention on himself because he has a deep pathological need for constant attention. So I've resolved to pay a lot less attention to what he says. We need to pay attention to what he does. But I've resolved to pay a lot less. I think he has too much space in my brain. And it's not good for me. And maybe it's not good for you. Because we don't know. We hear what he says, and we play this game of letting him control our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. No, we can say no. We can say no. You know, we feed this illusion of control by doom scrolling. You know what I mean? Reverend Sharon talked about it last Sunday. And if you haven't heard that sermon, I suggest you do, because it was really good advice for dealing with social media and media in general. Doom scrolling is keeping, worrying about things and getting that bit of news and that bit of news and that pundit. Pundits, they've got a deadline. They've got to write something, whatever it is, to meet the deadline. And sometimes they just pull that out of their ear. Okay? If you see something on media and it makes you furious and angry, just know that somebody is getting rich on your outrage. It's called the outrage industrial complex, because the more upset you get by a particular line of thought or images or ideas, the more you're going to click and the more money people are going to make. And it's not about the truth. It's about profit. The outrage industrial complex is real. And here maybe is the most important thing. We can't face the apocalypse alone. This faith community and other groups committed to our values and commitments are going to become ever more important. We are going to need each other like we never have. We need this community, this coming together, to be reminded of our highest resolves and our highest aspirations and our highest commitments. Because there's so much in the media environment that wants us to lose hope. And hope is where we can find, this is where we can find it. When some of us are in despair, others of us are resilient. When some of us are discouraged, others can comfort and encourage us. So we need each other more than we ever have. The songwriter Holly Near wrote, "I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. To be hopeless is to dishonor those who go before us. And I remember that lyric, when my hope dims. Those people who have sacrificed, those peacemakers and justice seekers, those people who have sacrificed and persevered, that have allowed humankind to make the progress it has, that have protected our freedom, that have advanced our justice throughout our history, to lose hope now and to give up is to dishonor them. And I won't do that. I'm not talking just about people like Gandhi and Martin Luther King and Thich Nhat Hanh. I'm talking about people in our Unitarian Universalist congregations, I dare say in this one, who have been working for peace and justice, who have been working to help us save the human life on this planet. We can't give up hope and dishonor those people. I won't. I want to end with these words by an inspiring writer named Rebecca Solnit. They want you to feel powerless and to surrender and to let them trample everything, and you're not going to let them. You are not giving up, and neither am I. The fact that we cannot save everything does not mean we cannot save anything, and everything that we can save is worth saving. You may need to grieve and scream or take time off, but you have a role, no matter what. And right now, good friends and good principles are worth gathering in. Remember that you love. Remember what loves you. Remember in this tide of hate what love even is. The pain you feel is because of what you love. Gather up your resources, the metaphysical ones of heart and soul and care, as well as the practical ones. There is no alternative to persevering, and that does not require you to feel good. You can keep walking, whether it's rainy or sunny. Take care of yourself, and remember that taking care of someone else is an important part of taking care of yourself, because you are interwoven with the 10 trillion things in this single garment of destiny that's been stained and torn, but is still being woven and mended and washed. Amen. Blessed be.
Please rise in body or spirit to sing together hymn number 1, May Nothing Evil Cross This Door, in the gray hymnal. May nothing evil cross this door.
The Sunday offering is an expression of the generosity that makes our congregational life possible. As Buddhist teacher Christina Feldman writes, generosity lies at the heart of spiritual practice. Extending generosity to ourselves and others gladdens our heart and is a direct way of healing division and brings joy. We encourage you to text your donation to Chalice. If you haven't texted a donation before, once you text the amount, you'll get a reply with a link to enter your card information. If your Sunday donation is meant to be part of your pledge payment, please be sure to indicate pledge after the dollar amount. The phone number for text donations will be on screen in a moment. If you prefer to make an in-person donation of cash or check, there are envelopes in a donation box to the left of the chapel double doors. You can leave those donations after the service. Please give generously. Please join in dedicating our offering with words of affirmation. At Chalice UU Congregation, our mission is to connect through worship, music, learning, and caring ministries.
Black Earth was composed by the Turkish pianist and composer Fazıl Say and is based on the Turkish folk song Kara Toprak by Turkish balladeer and cultural icon Aşık Veysel. After going blind as a child from smallpox, Veysel learned to play the saz, which is a plucked string instrument similar to a lute. He began to commit many traditional folk songs and poetry to memory and went on to write some of the most beloved folk songs of his time. The song Kara Toprak, translated as Black Soil or Black Earth, is at its heart about loneliness and loss. The black soil Veysel writes about is the natural landscape of his hometown of Sivas. The lyrics in part say, "I expected from many people to be real friends, but I didn't see any loyalty. I have everything I want from the soil. My faithful beloved is black soil. If you search for truth, here is a clear point. God is close to people. People are close to God. The secret treasure of God is in the soil. Soil recovers all my faults. It heals my wounds as medicine. It is waiting for me with open arms." Fazıl Say composed the piano piece Black Earth, which I'm about to play for you, as a meditation on the themes of the original folk ballad. He employs a special muted effect in the introduction and epilogue to imitate the sound of the saz, which was the Turkish lute that Veysel played. The central sections of the piece combine folklore, romantic piano style, and even jazz. Over the last week, as I've been learning and watching the heartbreaking loss that people are experiencing due to the fires, I was compelled to pull Black Earth off of the shelf. It kept speaking to me as I watched the land transformed into ashes. I acknowledge that the Black Earth from the original song was not talking about earth that was ravaged by fire. But even so, the song is at its heart about loneliness and loss, and so it spoke to me. When I play Fazil Say's piano composition, Black Earth, I feel at times comfort, at times turmoil, and in the end, catharsis.
Thank you. Will you pray with me? Dear God, we've been given the perilous gift of choice. Help us in all of our moments to choose love over hate, care for others over self-interest, generosity of spirit and hand over greed and callousness, community over isolation. Still our fearful hearts, O God, as we face the days ahead. Give us courage to do what we can. Help us to accept what we cannot change. We thank you for the example of those peacemakers and justice bringers who have shown us a way. Let us not dishonor them by apathy or indifference. We pray for all of those affected by the fires. We hold them in our hearts, knowing that we are one with all people and beings who are suffering now. God, whose other name is surprise, may our hearts and our efforts be blessed with the knowledge that divine love, working through us, will show us the way forward. Amen.
Please rise in body or spirit. We sing together hymn 121, We'll Build a Land, in the gray hymnal. We'll build a land where we bind up the broken. We'll build a land where the captives go free, where the oil of gladness dissolves all mourning. Oh, we'll
Our closing words come from Adrian Rich. My heart is moved by all I cannot save. So much has been destroyed. I have to cast my lot with those who, age after age, perversely, with no extraordinary power, reconstitute the world. Love and blessings to each of you, blessed be. You are invited to close our time together by singing the well. After our closing hymn, please enjoy our social hour on the courtyard and online. Our social hour will begin in a few minutes online at the same Zoom link. Those of you here in person might want to bring your refreshments into the green room and have a visit with our online congregants. Reverend Dr. Straube and I look forward to meeting you at the chapel doors to hear how this service was meaningful to you. Peace be with you.